Hi, I'm Aaron Martinez, and in the following video, you're going to be shifting your energy to awaken to source, experience a direct connection with your own inner guidance. And this particular video is excerpted from a program created by my non-physical teachers, Joseph, who are Source Energy here expressing. This program is called the Awaken to Source Mastermind. So if you want to learn a little bit more or get some of the free resources that we have for shifting your energy, visit us at aaronandjoseph.com.
We are fully present.
Mhm.
Coming in, and you're just gauging your receptivity by the amount of relaxation that you can allow. And of course, there are all sorts of reasons that you may hold on to tension. There are all sorts of reasons why you may not in any moment have the clearest connection that you can. But all of those things become revealed to you as you hold that intention to let the energy flow. So as we're flowing here, Aaron feels the body relaxing, 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 and then it is a pure state of receptivity. And that's the same process that you go through connecting to the energy, but it also reveals any places that aren't so easily released. And so that's the work. That's the work here, is identifying those, allowing them to shift and change so that you open that passageway. So you open that receptivity just a little bit more, just a little bit more, just a little bit more. And it affects all things, because that receptivity, although there are maybe some aspects of your life that you're very, very good at achieving and maintaining that receptivity, there are also characteristics or aspects of your life where there are still unresolved beliefs. And so while it is very wonderful for you to be able to allow that energy flow on certain subjects, you can also feel that there is always going to be a little bit of refinement. There's always going to be a little bit of tweaking. There's always going to be a little bit more detail that you can add to this process. So you just have to appreciate that and in a sense, enjoy it, because you know that it will transform into something much greater. And so that's all this process is.
Yeah. And one of the questions that I've had in sort of living the process is around alchemy. Like, how do I use not just my awareness, emotional awareness, to transform my feeling state and my consciousness, allowing in like the guidance and the, shifts, but the energetic alchemy, like I feel like there's a whole use of energy in a way that transforms situations that may be just a little bit different than this process that I've been doing, because I can feel more power. And that's why I'm asking. Like, it can feel more like even desire or power. And maybe I'm projecting, but it's sort of like I get this sense of this can change. There's a solution here. And just allow it to be. And there's sort of an alchemical thing that happens. I don't know. It's just a feeling. Is there such a thing as alchemy in that
Very
respect?
much so. In this respect, we're talking about the transmutation of ideas. We're talking about the transmutation of energy from one state to another. In other words, lead into gold, if you would. And that applies to everything that we're talking about, but you have to have your own orientation achieved within that process, and then you can offer it to others. So if you have that energy flowing within yourself and you see what you would call a circumstance outside of the self that you want to assist or uplift, well, you have to have your orientation. And so it is all one and the same, because if you're looking what you would call outside yourself and you're identifying a circumstance or a situation or a behavior or anything like that that you want to be able to transmute. Well, in that very moment of your giving attention to that, in that very moment of your identifying, giving your awareness to it, you have a resonance with it. So it is not outside yourself. It is an awareness that is going on. So if it is, let's say, someone close to you and you observe a behavior that is bothering you, well, the bother or the desire for solution that you feel is an indication that it's actually going on within yourself. And so that's, again, where the fulcrum is. That's where the transformative power is allowing the inner energy to reveal the solutions to you, which you can then offer to others through words, through actions, through behavior. But if you're just looking at the situation and you're trying to rattle off ideas or think about all these different ways that you can be of help, well, you're still perpetuating that old energy. Yeah. And in a very subtle way, you can tell because of the way that it feels. And the mounting frustration that you feel when trying to work with outside circumstances is the indication that you're going about it in a way that is not allowing the solution, that is not allowing the resolution to come forward. So what do? You identify points of tension, you identify points of resistance that are going on, and then you hold the intention to allow your inner energy to transform it. And that is the work, again, is allowing that to transmute, allowing that to shift and change until you almost disassociate yourself from the current situation. And that is when the new ideas come in. But if you're all wrapped up in, let's say, their drama, then the energies are all over the place. And just because you know the right thing to say, it will not be effective because it is not coming from that clear energetic state.
But isn't there a way to sort of step back from a situation, not engage in it, in the drama, in the emotion, but to actually see that there can be a resolution, there can be a solution? And I do hear what you're saying about, yes, I am part of that, part of that energy at that moment, but I'm not sucked into the sort of the, what feels like a blindness to the solution. I'm more on the solution end of it, right?
Indeed.
And I'm in that energy. And
it can be that brief. You can just identify it and then let it go.
Okay.
You can identify the situation, then let it go, and then the inner energy will sweep that old energy away and reveal to you all of the possibilities that you could offer. But sometimes if it's up close and personal, it seems more real. It seems as if there are more things that need to be done. And that is why people go to marriage counselors. That is why there are countless books written on the subject of parenting, because although you have practiced this and you know the feeling of that energy, if you don't have that recognition, you can identify with the circumstance and say, my children are misbehaving and this is why I'm so frustrated. When in reality, you're frustrated because you're holding on to that perception, you're holding on to that point of view. But what you're talking about is just being able to identify it. You feel, that's how you know that there is something going on, because you feel just a little bit of tension, a little bit of dissonance, a little bit of resistance.
Right.
And then you just tune back into the breath, tune back into your own process, and resolution comes from that. And the best part, we think, of it is that not only do you receive the inspiration, not only do you receive the new idea, but you're also leveraging the power of the universe. So all sorts of unseen, unknown by you, unintelligible even to your conscious mind, all of these confluences of energy join together and assist you so that when you are inspired to take the action, you're not acting alone. You're leveraging the non-physical energy. You have what are called angels backing you up. You have non-physical source infusing the whole situation.
Mm-hmm.
But you don't act to affect the outcome. You have that energetic transmutation, you have that alchemy occur within the self. And then you say, I could do this. And while you're in that flow of inspiration, that's when untold energies assist you in the process.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm beginning to recognize the distinction, and maybe this is the discernment of a situation that I can either get caught up in that feels very, kind of uneven, and my own ability to stand in my own energy, my own power in a way. And last time we talked about, giving my power away. And I think for the past week, I've really been focusing on, how does my power feel to me, and feeling more secure in that. And as I've been doing that, it allows me to see that there is a choice more clearly. And we've been working on this, but yet it's almost like I don't know what to call it, a different frequency or something. And so now this sense of I'm going to step into the solution. I may not know what that solution is, but I'm going to allow that solution to be, is more my preference, and not so much insisting on things looking a certain way, but trusting that solution is readily available. That's kind of what I meant by alchemy, because to me that feels a little bit more like coming from a place of a different energy that can rework or reset or something, the energy that I may not feel compatible with. And not pushing away. It doesn't feel like resistance. It feels more like flowing with, with, I don't know how to describe this. It feels more like flowing with the waves of well-being, of upliftment.
And so it is.
Okay, yeah. So it is. That's right. So it is.
And when that energy is shifted and you have the new revelation, maybe it's just a feeling at first, maybe it's a really subtle idea, and you continue to dwell there and continue to allow it to build and grow and grow and grow, then you feel the strength of that energy increase in the recognition of the emotion, the feeling that continues to build, until it is just so strong that you cannot help but take this action. Because when you truly stabilize within this energy, the universe is going to bring you the opportunities that match it at the same time that you're stabilizing in the energy. But you can't figure all that stuff out. You can just put your focus on that growing, expanding, energizing new idea that is growing and filling you with energy. But at the same time, when you make that energy your priority, you'll see the opportunities drawn to you. The person you're thinking about in that sense will come into your life and present themselves in a different way. And you'll say, I was just thinking about this and I have the perfect solution for you. And it is that moment, that confluence of experience and energies, that is manifestation, that is creating your experience. You're stable in the energy, you're allowing it to grow, you're feeling the inspiration, you're feeling the new ideas, you're feeling this passion continue to grow and build and expand. And meanwhile, you're offering this energy to the universe, which is responding and saying, this is how it's all unfolding. Because then as you're holding that stable place, all of the compatible circumstances are being drawn to that. And the next thing you know, this inspiration that you had is bursting forth from you at the same time that people and experiences are being drawn, and it catapults you into new experience because you've allowed the alchemical process to take place using yourself as the vessel, as the crucible, if you would. And so as that continues to build, there is that reaction. There is that combustion. There is that reaching out that draws the new experiences to you.
Mm, yeah. I had this experience last night before I fell asleep where I just talked to my nephew, and he was going to see a medium today, which was kind of a little, incongruous for him, but good. And I had this sense last night. I said, "Oh, I can feel my brother, two of my brothers, and my father. I can feel them here, present." Went to sleep. Today, he texts me that my two brothers and my father's brother, basically, came through for him today to talk to him. And I was like, I felt that energy. I felt that energy last night. And I'm not saying that I created that situation at all, but I felt like I was more in sync with that situation. I was more connected. I was more, and I'm having more of that sort of, and it feels very powerful. This kind of, I want to say this sense that there's greater, that there's more, that there's, not just, a situation and then reacting to a situation or moving through a situation. There's more happening. There's more, like, as you were talking about, all the angels of the universe, and there's more help, there's more guidance, there's more energy, there's just more. And it feels really good. It feels really, even when I was sitting in meditation the other day and I could feel like anger coming up, and I felt that anger and I felt the fear at the same time. I said, all right, I see it, I feel it, it's here, but I focused more on the energy, the power of the energy that was coming forward. And it allowed me to feel more powerful rather than angry. It's like the anger disappeared almost. And this power came through, this energetic power. So it's sort of sensing things differently, Joseph, is what I'm trying to say.
Very much so.
With the
You have that inner energy that's building, wanting to express, but the anger is trying to tamp it down. Now, to solve that anger, you didn't have to get out of meditation and call someone up on the phone and cuss them out to make sure that they knew exactly how you felt. You didn't have to go and start an argument or try to save the world before you could feel that relief. You did the transmutation process. You allowed that inner energy to flow through the cracks of that anger. And as it flowed through, it was able to dissolve and to shift and change. And then from that, the inner energy can say, and think about this, and what about this? And because the inner energy understands and recognizes the circumstances that you're in. It knows all that you're stewing about. And there are solutions, there are new ideas to each and every single one of those thoughts that come up from that angry place. We call them resolutions. And that's what you get access to when you allow the energy to shift and change.
Yeah.
That's inner guidance.
Inner guidance. Inner guidance. The other thing that I wanted to ask you about was sort of the energy that we all are and everything is flowing all the time. And I think, I don't know who I was talking to, but at any rate, like, it's what I heard, what I kind of got from my inner guidance was that everything is energy, spirit, God, love. It flows through everything, and connecting with it, like, it has all different forms of manifestation. So even, what we might deem to be a negative form is still a manifestation, and there's spiritual energy. There's the energy of force in that. Is that true?
It is
yeah.
It is in the sense that there is the raw material. In other words, your beliefs are made of energy. Your
Mm.
thoughts are energy. Now, they are slower vibrations in many sense, if you want to use that terminology. There are different configurations that you can use. And ultimately, universal energy is a tool, if you would. It is subjective. In the same way a hammer could build a house or it could break a window, the same is true of this universal energy. It's just flowing wherever that conscious attention is going. It is just flowing wherever it is allowed to. But within all of that, there are different spectrums. Within all of that, there are different expressions of the energy. Now, you are an expression of that energy, and everyone on the planet is an expression of that energy. But you also have the ability to direct that energy in any way that you want, in any way that you focus, and you will do so. So, is it possible to flow that energy in opposition to the flow of inner source? It very much is possible
Okay.
because you are a creator. You have that, what has been called the gift of free will. You have the choice of thought. You can take this raw material and build any belief, build any perspective, build any foundation that you choose, and it will come into physical manifestation. That is your prerogative. Yes, that is your choice. That is the gift that you've been endowed with, and that is an eternal expression. As a creator, you get to recognize, you get to learn, you get to choose, you get to have life experiences, you get to decide what you want to create. Many times people base that decision based on physical expectations of others, how you see others living, what they think you should be doing, and you buy into it, and thus you create it. But we want your criteria for choice to be that inner energy, that what is called a higher frequency, that all-encompassing energy, so that you can get into the flow. So you don't have to do that. You're not obliged. Your beliefs can vibrate. Your beliefs can resonate very differently than that inner energy. And that's all part of the process, because you get to pick and choose how you want it to be. You get to pick and choose how you want this to unfold. But when you do find just a thought, just an inspiration, just a feeling that resonates with that inner energy, and you continue to choose it over and over and over again, then you have this framework of thought being infused with this inner energy. And that is how you get the benefit of all of it.
Yeah, thank you for that explanation. That's perfect. Because yes, I mean, I love the hammer analogy, because you can build a house that's all wobbly and stuff with a hammer, or you can build a really solid. Did I lose you?
We are
Ah,
present.
sorry, because I'm on my phone. Stuff keeps popping up. Or you can build a house that's like really solid, and so I totally see that. And the resonance that I have is with that higher energy that wants to keep expanding, not to be ungrounded in the sense that I'm not present in my life, but there's just this feeling, this very powerful feeling. And one thing that I had this experience of was the sense of an amulet, like a ruby amulet, like in my heart, in my chest. Like it just felt like really beautiful, really peaceful, really like connected to my divine self in a way. And it's become this sort of image that I'm holding, that when I imagine it, when I sense it, it feels like really me, really like source me, not like somebody trying to make something up. It so using those kinds of things as part of my way of connecting, that's all that's all that's all source energy. That's what I'm kind of getting at, right? That's all
It is. It is
okay.
your interpretation of energy.
My
And
interpretation.
everyone is going to have their own process. But when you connect clearly to that energy, you can feel the reality of it. Yes?
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
others would say that it is a metaphor. And in a sense, that may be true, but it is an energetic reality. And if you feel the presence of it and you like the resonance, when you continue to feed it with your thought, when you continue to add momentum to it from your attention, it gets stronger and stronger and stronger. And not only is it a non-physical creation, but then it starts to attract physical things to you as well.
Yeah. Yeah. I love it. I actually love that, the feeling of this beautiful connection, because it's like I feel like I'm holding all of these wonderful, loving energies, my connection with you and Aaron, and my connection with my family, and past and present, in a very loving way. It feels really awesome. And I guess that, the only little tinge, and why I'm asking you about it is, I think people used to be called witches or whatever for that, you know, and, but that's who I feel like I truly am. And that's what I want, because it feels so good.
So enjoy it. It's just an
Yeah.
interpretation of energy. In other words,
Yeah.
angels don't have physical wings.
No.
It is an interpretation. And it is not good or bad in any sort of objective sense. It just is and always will be that you have your own relationship with energy. You're developing your own perceptive mechanisms, your own reference points, and that is your language. And rather than trying to change it, we want you to get in touch with it and recognize it and get into it and feel it and allow it to build and grow, because energies attract like energy. So when you put your emphasis there and really experience that and really allow it to grow, you'll attract others who share that same language, whatever
Yeah.
they call you.
Yeah. Thank you. That's perfect. Really, 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 really good. Yeah. Also, I wanted to ask what your definition of love is. I think I might have asked you this once before.
Love is your personal interpretation of the energy of source flowing clearly through you and out into your experience.
It is.
You don't have to hold on to it. You're not coveting it to yourself, because that doesn't feel like love.
Right.
You're not resisting it or afraid of what might happen if the love flows through you, because that is, again, not love. You're not trying to sign a contract till death do us part out of fear that you'll lose the other person, because that is not love. Now, love is your interpretation of the energy. Love is the way that you feel. Love is the way that you experience. Love is the action that you are moved into as what could be called service, as the energy flows through you. Now, we don't care if you call it service. We don't care if you call it love. We don't care what you call it. It's the experience. And as the energy flows through you, it wants to express. You want to create. You want to uplift others. You want to share that energy. So it is never just for one.
But it is my personal interpretation as energy flows through me. It's my love is how I experience and allow that source energy to flow through me. And the results of the outward, connections or whatever are a result of that, my personal interpretation.
Indeed. And to bring it full circle, when you feel that source, when you feel that energy, when you feel that love growing within you, and you allow it to grow, and you're not trying to change anybody else to be more lovable, but you allow it to grow, and you're not trying to manipulate any circumstances to be more lovable, but you allow it to grow to this strength that it then attracts all of the opportunities for you to share and express that love.
Mm-hmm.
And you cannot not.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we were talking about at the beginning of this. The energy is so strong, and you've let it, in other words, you felt it, that opportunities are going to be magnetized to you, and you're going to say, yes, this is exactly what I've been wanting to share. And that is love in action. That is love in expression.
It's really good. So love feels very expansive. What would you say is contraction then? What would it is our experiences that are challenges, experiences of contraction? Because we talk about how we have these sorts of, challenges and emotional, beliefs and thoughts, limitations, and then we have the resolution, which feels like expansion. How do you describe contraction?
So the contraction is what you would feel as the opposite of love, the resisting the flow of the love. You could call it resistance. You feel it as fear. You feel it at the very core as a lack of love. But when we're talking about challenges that are drawn to you, that is your opportunity to recognize where the constriction has been. As if you are cutting off blood flow to your foot and you start moving, well, you feel in those prickles and those tingles where the constriction has been. And the same is true with recognizing beliefs or opinions or all sorts of things going on within yourself that don't feel like the love. Well, the love is flowing, the blood is flowing, the life force is flowing and moving. That energy from source is wanting to express, but it's meeting all of these places where it is being constricted. And so that is the work. Being called by a different name is recognizing the places within yourself where you've been resisting that flow of energy, finding ways to allow it to shift and change and transmute within you. And then the opportunities are magnetized to you for you to be able to express that into and as your life. That is creation.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. All part of this process. So
it is a continuum.
Yeah,
it is
I got
an
it.
eternal process, because that source isn't here to check the thing off of your list. It is a never-ending eternal process, forever
Right.
and ever.
Ever and ever and ever. Why is it that from the other side, I want to say from the non-physical side, that you can see or know that things are going to sort of come to resolution, that's the result?
We see the resistance like a boulder in the stream. The energy is flowing regardless. Now, that boulder may not be flowing with the energy, but the energy is still going to move.
Mm-hmm. Okay, that's why. That's why. Okay, you can follow the energy like water. Yeah, that's a beautiful metaphor. Okay.
You called it forth.
Yeah, thank you.
We can talk about this in endless ways, and we can just not talk about it and have the energetic conversation. But this is, as with all things, you have questions, you have focus, and so the energy is able to flow clearly here. And so it's always in response to what you're asking for. If someone else were asking the question, we would phrase it differently, perhaps, if they were coming from a different place. And so it's just this inner energy being translated into physical because of the questions, because of the requests, because of your particular interface or interaction with energy.
Yeah, it's fabulous.
Indeed.
Really, thank you. Thank
Very
you.
much
Thank
so.
you.
The only requisite is the desire. The only requisite is the intention and being able to listen.
Yeah, and every time I listen, I feel it move. I feel things move. Like I just feel things move. And yeah, so thank you. That's all my questions for today, but that was a lot. So thank you so much.
Very much so. And what we've achieved in this conversation is what we keep talking about as the process, is that you've had maybe a question or some things maybe snagging a little bit, and you come into this forum, into this environment, and you let the energy flow, and then new ideas come. And we're just here to reinforce that new inspiration. We're here to just put more energy, more emphasis, more power to that, and it gets stronger and stronger. And then you leave this conversation, and so much energetic momentum has been built that those manifestations are going to be drawn to you. And
So
then
true.
from that, you'll have new ideas. You'll reach new outer limits where you'll feel some constriction. And then we'll come back and have the conversation again, and so on and so forth. And that is what we are here for, is finding ways to talk you into that connection with the energy so we can build upon it and build upon it and build upon it, which is love in action, because then the circumstances are drawn to you and you're taking action, and we get our motive fulfilled as well, which is that we want to flow. As source, we want that energy to flow.
Well, I love that you said that it's love, the energy of love flowing. It just fills me up in a really beautiful way. Thank you, Joseph. I love you so much. Thank you.
Very much so. And as you feel, we have that flowing as well. And so allow yourself to be filled with that energy until it is overflowing. And that is when you are of service to others as well.
Okay. Thank you.
Very much. We are complete. Hi.
Oh, Aaron, so